It was supposed to be a fun weekend getaway with my best friend Emily. We had been talking about exploring the forest near our small town for weeks. The dense woods had always seemed so mysterious and intriguing to us. Little did we know, our decision to venture into those woods would lead to the most horrifying experience of our lives. Emily and I packed up some supplies, food, water, flashlights, and a few blankets, and set off into the forest on a bright Saturday morning. The hike through the winding trails was beautiful, with the sun peeking through the tall trees and the sounds of bird chirping all around us. We chatted excitedly, looking forward to a relaxing day of adventure. After about an hour walking, we stumbled upon a small abandoned cabin nestled between the trees. "Look, we should check that out," I said, my curiosity piqued. Emily nodded enthusiastically, and we made our way over the cabin. The wooden structure seemed incredibly old, with overgrown vines crawling up the sides. As we approached the front door, I noticed it was slightly ajar. "That's weird," I muttered, exchanging a cautious glance with Emily. "Should we go inside?" "Well, we came all this way. Might as well take a look," Emily replied, already stepping through the doorway. I hesitated for a moment, an uneasy feeling settling in the pit of my stomach, but ultimately decided to follow her lead. The interior of the cabin was just as dilapidated as the outside. Dust coated every surface, and the air had a musty, stale quality to it. Cobwebs hung in the corners, and the floorboards creaked with each step we took. "This place is kind of creepy," Emily whispered, her eyes darting around nervously. "You sure we should be in here?" "Oh, come on! Where's your sense of adventure?" I teased, walking further into the cabin. "There's probably nothing to be scared of. Maybe someone just abandoned this place a long time ago." We spent the next several minutes exploring the cabin, examining the peeling wallpaper and the worn, old furniture. It felt like stepping back in time, like we had somehow stumbled upon a relic from the past. As we reached the back of the cabin, we discovered a small bedroom. There was an old rickety bed frame in the corner, and a tattered dresser against the wall. Intrigued, I pulled open one of the dresser drawers, only to find it completely empty. "I wonder where all this stuff is," I mused, closing the drawer. "This place is like a ghost town." "Yeah, it's kind of creepy. Let's get out of here, okay?" Emily urged, her voice laced with unease. "I don't have a good feeling about this place." I could tell she was starting to get spooked, so I agreed, and we made our way back to the front door. But just as we were about to leave, something caught my eye. Sitting on a small table near the entryway was an old, leather-bound journal. Curiosity got the better of me, and I picked it up, flipping through the yellowed pages. "What's that?" Emily asked, peering over my shoulder. "Looks like some kind of journal. Maybe it belongs to whoever used to live here," I replied, scanning the faded handwriting on the pages. As I read, a chill ran down my spine. The journal entries were dated nearly a century ago, and they described a series of disturbing, inexplicable events that had occurred in the cabin. The writer, a man named Thomas, had moved into the cabin with his wife and young son, seeking a quiet, isolated life in the woods. But strange things started happening almost immediately. Strange noises in the night, unexplained shadows flickering at the corner of their vision, and a sense of being watched constantly. Thomas wrote about how he and his family had grown increasingly paranoid and fearful, their once peaceful existence turning into a living nightmare. The final entry, dated 3 days after the previous one, was the most chilling. Thomas described how, one night, he woke to the sound of his son's blood-curdling screams. He rushed to the boy's room, only to find him gone, vanished without a trace. Thomas and his wife searched frantically, but there was no sign of the child anywhere. The journal ended there, leaving us to wonder what had happened to Thomas and his family. Had they simply abandoned the cabin and fled the woods, or was there something more sinister at play? "Oh my God," Emily breathed, her face pale. "We need to get out of here, now." I couldn't agree more. Something about this place felt incredibly wrong, and the contents of the journal had left me feeling deeply unsettled. We hurried out of the cabin, my heart pounding in my chest. As we stepped outside, the bright, sunny day had given way to an eerie gray twilight. Shadows seemed to loom larger, and the far sounds had grown hushed and ominous. We quickened our pace, desperate to put as much distance between ourselves and the cabin as possible. But as we made our way through the winding trails, something felt off. The path we had taken to the cabin seemed to have vanished, replaced by a maze of unfamiliar trees and undergrowth. "Emily, I think we're lost," I said, my voice trembling. "What? No, that can't be. We followed the same trail, right?" She spun around, her eyes wide with panic. "Which way did we come from?" We searched frantically, but no matter which direction we turned, nothing looked familiar. The dense foliage and towering trees all looked the same. A growing sense of dread began to creep up my spine.